So Sam just announced a new open weight language model with reasoning that is coming in the upcoming months. But Sam has been in favor for closed AI for so long. It's not open AI, it's closed AI. So we'll see why they decided to go with open source. So by the end of this video, you'll know everything you need to know and how to use it and how you can possibly help with the launch. So let's go through Sam's post here saying that they're releasing it in the coming months and we want to talk to devs about how to make it maximally useful. The link here goes to a form that you can sign up and get access. Maybe if you're a dev, you have a GitHub profile, socials, a couple of different links and criterias to submit, and you might get access to the open model feedback where they're gonna train it and release it carefully, hopefully. Now let's take a look into the tweet a little bit deeper. Again, we are excited to make this a very, very good model. Thanks. We are planning to release our first open weight language model since GPT-2. We've been thinking about this for a long time, but other priorities took precedence. Now, it feels important to do. So was this a little bit of pressure from Meta that have their Llama models open sourced or open weights and for us to be able to use it on our computer, as well as DeepSeek R1, another open sourced, fully open sourced model that people can use and train for their own ways, right? Before release, we will evaluate this model according to our preparedness framework. We would like we would do for any other model, and we will do extra work given that we know this model will be modified post-release. And that's one of the issues with open source, that people can start fine-tuning it and potentially finding different loopholes and ways to actually make it a little bit dangerous. We still have some decisions to make, so we're hosting developer events to gather feedback and later play with early prototypes. We'll start in SF in a couple of weeks, followed by sessions in Europe and APAC. If you're interested in joining, please sign up at the link above. We're excited to see what developers build and how large companies and governments use it, where they prefer to run a model themselves. So let's take the closed source versus the open source argument, right? The real benefits of them creating an open weights model is, of course, the accelerated innovation, where obviously developers and researchers could build on top of this model, immediately fine-tuning, adapting, and integrating it to new use cases, as well as it fosters a rich ecosystem of innovation. When we've looked at Mark Zuckerberg's methodology of thinking and open sourcing, it seems like, yeah, we'll open source it as long as it benefits us. And when you check the open libraries here, for example, using LM Studio, you can see that Llama 3.1 8B is still one of the most popular open sourced models to be used. And if we're sorting by downloads, it has over 1.7 million downloads locally. So think about how much innovation and development they're getting for free by us using the model, giving more feedback, developing with the team so we can create the next model. In addition, they also have DeepSeek on LM Studio that has 5.6 million downloads, and this is the R1 Distill Qwen 14B model that is available on most people's computer, and 14 billion might be a little bit too much for some computers, but still a pretty small model. So you can see the popularity of these is maybe tempting Chad Altman to go with an open source method. Now, they're not going to open source their image models. They're only talking about language models after a wild ride with their new image generator where Ghibli photos was allowed and then it was completely taken off. If you haven't seen it yet, ChatGPT's image generator got a massive overhaul. people are saying, I'm sorry, but do you understand? It's over for graphical designers, like over. And this picture with a perfect John Wick movie poster. This one from an image of a screenshot of Wikipedia page. And I love seeing these specific use cases. For example, making an ad for the Ridge wallet, transforming it into a completely new style. And if you look really closely here, you can see that they want you to subscribe to the channel. Also, comment down below what you think about the open source, closed source battle. And I think if I say like the video, it actually makes it animate. So that's pretty cool as well. AI in YouTube as well. So OpenAI is definitely at another level, enabling us to create images that we could never create before. But let's find out what Sam thinks about open source here. He said on a Q&A on Reddit that he thinks OpenAI has been on the wrong side of history when it comes to open sourcing its technologies. And I quote, "I personally think we need to figure out a different open source strategy," Altman said. Not everyone at OpenAI shares this view, and it's also not our highest priority. We will produce better models going forward, but we need to maintain less of a lead than we did in previous years. There may also be another reasoning for this, which is that they just raised another 40 billion in a deal with SoftBank, again from Japan. They already have an investment plan with SoftBank, but now they are actually deploying the money and trying to pave the way towards AGI. This article discusses this a little bit more. However, to stay up to date, SoftBank is to put 10 billion at first into OpenAI and then 30 billion more by the end of 2025. If certain conditions are met, the Japanese company will provide 75% of the funding in the latest round, with the rest provided by Microsoft, a key backer of OpenAI. We've covered this on the channel as well. The goal is for it to be worth 300 billion in the coming years towards OpenAI, with a lot of other funders in that specific deal as well. They're also talking about growing competition in the open source space from DeepSeek and Meta, whose models are freely available and, unlike ChatGPT, can be adjusted. OpenAI is preparing to launch an open weight model which can be fine-tuned by users. OpenAI had been a fierce defender of closed proprietary models that do not allow developers to modify the basic technology to adapt AI to their goals. We've been thinking about this for a long time, but other priorities took precedence. Now, it feels important to do. OpenAI and defenders of closed models, which include Google, have often described open models as riskier and more vulnerable to malicious and non-US government use. You might remember Elon Musk being a very strong proponent to a non-profit organization versus a for-profit organization. But XAI is not non-profit either, where he tried to buy the company for, what was it, 97 billion, which was a really low ball offer, where Sam Altman obviously slapped back and said, hey, we'll buy Twitter for 97 billion if you want to. Mark Zuckerberg said this month that its large language model Llama had hit 1 billion downloads, and DeepSeek's lower-cost R1 model rocked the world of artificial intelligence in January. DeepSeek is still the most open-sourced, Llama is only open weights, and OpenAI is only gonna open weight the model as well, so we won't have as much control as we do with DeepSeek. So to recap, mostly it comes from competitive pressure from open source models, some internal reflection, like he said on the Q&A Ask Me Anything on Reddit, that they might be on the wrong side of history, a strategic partnership with SoftBank and Microsoft, maybe some pressure there as well, and the industry trends towards transparency. For me, I don't personally believe that Sam Altman is going to make an open AI. it's still going to be closed. Even though we see great results from DeepSeek, they are in a catch-up process. Closed AI is still the greatest as they are able to innovate internally and then give that to us. But there are some really great benefits, like getting devs onto the model, training it, testing it, and customizing it, and then learning from that to make even better models in the future. For me personally, I can't wait until I get a LM Studio ChatGPT variation that I can download and use on my computer. So when that comes out, I want to do some testing for it. But until then, if you're trying to use AI for business or saving time, I highly recommend checking out our AI Mate community in the description down below. We just released a new AI tool that you can test that scrapes any content online so you can get the best video ideas. For content creators that want just a little bit more, I highly recommend checking it out. Also, we have calls every single Monday, so you can start using AI in your work, doing tasks for you, condensing sometimes 4 hours of work down to 15 minutes. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in next one. Peace.